scheme to clear Hillary Clinton, frame Donald Trump. Also, Freedom Caucus member Matt Gaetz is with us. And I got to ask you, you sent a letter. You want the unredacted, any changes to this report that they now had 3 weeks in the lead up to this to suggest such to the Inspector General. And as part of oversight, you and two other congressmen are demanding the full report in its original form. I would assume now you'll probably get that by 2025 based on the Department of Justice and how they work.
Yeah, it's very funny, Sean, how the Department of Justice and some of their agents view the time-space continuum. Of course we want all the drafts, and of course all the things you said about Hillary are true and awful. But the bombshell in this Inspector General's report is Chapter 12 that goes to the very beginning of the Trump-Russia investigation, the political bias that the Inspector General essentially says was part of the origin of the hoax. Think about this, Sean. The quote you just read, where Peter Strzok is saying to Lisa Page that, we'll stop him. Trump won't be president. It was 8 days before that very text message that Peter Strzok himself ended up on Papadopoulos and started the, counterintelligence investigation into the Trump campaign. 8 days. So, this is a Department of Justice that cannot produce records to us in a year. But all of a sudden, Peter Strzok knew 8 days after he opened up on Papadopoulos that he could bring down Donald Trump. Here's why. On page 420 of the Inspector General's report, the Inspector General says that they cannot exclude political bias in the decision from Peter Strzok to end all focus on the Hillary Clinton investigation and to have everybody prioritize the Trump-Russia investigation. They cannot say that it wasn't political bias that led to that investigative decision. I think that is the bombshell that we'll carry today. And also there's this mysterious new character to the story, attorney number 2. This was the top FBI lawyer that went on to the Mueller probe, and he was texting other FBI officials. Viva la resistance.
That's why they paid such little attention. But I think right now what Congressman Gaetz is saying is absolutely essential, that the beginning of this investigation, let's just go back to what the House Intelligence Committee wants, Sean, House Oversight Committee, what everybody's been looking for. What was the beginning of this investigation?
Well, there's more evidence of politics. Page 416. I mean, I never really liked the Republic anyway. Pence is stupid. That's not political? The whole idea that, Lisa Page is writing "Be nice" to Hillary when you do the interview. Don't go loaded for bear is the term she used, Greg Jarrett. That's not political?
Yeah, look, the key line is where the IG says this is not only indicative of a biased state of mind, but implies a willingness to take official action to impact the presidential candidate's electoral prospects. That's a direct quote. So, clearly they harbored a bias. Could the IG come up with an admission or a piece of paper that said, we did it, we carried out our bias by launching the Trump investigation and clearing Clinton? No, they didn't. I mean, that's pretty rare in any case. But the facts and how they dealt with Trump and Clinton on very different playing fields demonstrate that is what happened.
Let me go back to Congressman Gaetz. Congressman, we now know, too, that they covered up the fact that hostile actors gained access to Hillary Clinton's email. Now, that means sources, that means individuals, that means lives and methods are exposed. And if I had to guess, that's why everybody was like, well, where did the Clinton emails come from before? Well, they came from her originally. And I'm sure Russia, yeah, they're probably one. China's probably another. North Korea, Iran. Those would be the first hostile actors I would think of that had access to her top secret classified special access programming emails. And that rendered sources, individuals, human beings, human intelligence, didn't that put them in their lives at risk? And when you go back to the whole Valerie claim that she's a covert agent, which she never was, and the left's reaction to that, and you compare it to this, and the fact that they just want to gloss over that, to me, is unspeakable. Because on top of it all, it's all illegal. These are all crimes, what she did.
They are, Sean, and the very outrage you just is shared by so many former FBI agents. Throughout the Inspector General's report, they detail circumstances where Comey and McCabe had all of these current and former agents outraged. Comey was getting inundated with emails from people out in the field saying, hey, if I'd have done this, if I would have subjected Americans and their safety to this risk, I would have been thrown out of the FBI and probably prosecuted. And so to try to manage public relations, Comey was meeting with the Society of Former FBI Agents who were furious that this had gone on and who expressed their extreme displeasure with the way James Comey allowed a lack of accountability to persist throughout this agency. Here's the question, Sean. Where do we go from here? Is this just going to be another report that lays on a dusty bookshelf in Washington, D.C., or will the Attorney General, upon seeing these facts, realize that Hillary Clinton
I've given up on
never
that.
Put in jeopardy?
Well, let me ask this all-important question, because isn't it true that Congress has lined up FBI agents that were pushed aside? In other words, the people that we respect the most, that they were pushed aside. This was put in a special category where only the upper echelon of the FBI was involved in this investigation. And aren't they, in the end, going to be the heroes here? In other words, the FBI agents that know what they did here was wrong, and they saw it, and they knew it, and they can't say anything about it unless they're subpoenaed, aren't they lined up ready to go and tell their story?
Let's hope so, Sean, because it was Andrew McCabe, who's now been referred for criminal prosecution, who sent that infamous email, saying that this was going to be taken away. He later testified that it was a headquarters special. We need to know why the D.C. field office was deprived of jurisdiction to handle this matter, and I think it was because politics had infected the upper levels of our justice system and our FBI, and you know what? It goes on today. We have not truly drained this swamp because we've got this illegitimate Russia investigation built on a rotten foundation, and we see how rotten it is each and every day.
Sarah?
Absolutely. If this would have been another country, and Congressman Gaetz, I think you can understand where I'm going with this, but if this would have been another country and we were writing a story about this, what would we write about? We would be saying that their intelligence apparatus, their law enforcement apparatus was trying to take out a duly elected president based on these text messages, based on the evidence that we have at hand.
No, the title of Greg's book nails it. The Russian hoax, the illicit scheme to clear Hillary, who's guilty, and frame Donald Trump. That's it. It captures the whole thing. By the way, you can get early orders at Amazon.com, Hannity.com, and it will be in bookstores everywhere in July. Quick break. We'll come back. More with Congressman Gaetz, more with Sarah Carter, more with Greg Jarrett, and Ron DeSantis.